Hi, everyone. Welcome to Voice of Her Own. I'm Allison Kinnear. Whew, I have so much to share with you today. But first, let me talk about Macbeth. We're going to talk about Macbeth, and I'm going to tell you why. Macbeth changed my life. When I was in high school, first of all, I really liked Shakespeare. I liked kind of interpreting what the language meant and figuring out all these weird phrases, things that were just so new, this old English and deciphering that. And so I remember being in high school and we were reading Macbeth, and it came to this very brief point. It was right after Macbeth had killed the king for his own purposes, and and it was just some people in the town were talking about the strange events that were happening. That, it's like nature wasn't behaving like it normally did. It was dark instead in the daytime instead of light. And at one point, it said something about. Did you hear about the king's horses? They were really wonderful horses, but they ate each other. And I I read the passage and I was like, horses ate each other? And I raised my hand because I was trying to decipher it and go, what is Shakespeare trying to explain? What is this metaphor, that he's trying to convey? And I raised my hand and the teach and asked, what does this mean? The horses, they eat each other. And she said, oh, it means exactly what it says, that the laws of nature, something so wrong had happened that it was like the laws of nature were not behaving as they should, and that things were so out of balance that horses ate each other. Like, just to prove a point of like what Macbeth did was so wrong, was so against what should have happened, like so against the universe that these crazy things happen. It was such a disturbing thought of mine, and clearly here I am in my 40s and I'm still thinking about this one tiny little line in Macbeth. And the reason why this is powerful to me is because there's been so many times in my life where I have felt a tug to do something, I felt the tug to move to Germany, or I felt the tug to go to a certain college, or I felt the tug to take a certain job, or whatever the case may be. I felt these tugs in my life. And there are times when it's like, it's scary to take the leap to move to Germany, right? Like, it's scary to take these big leaps, but to not do it feels like something in the universe is going to go out of balance and horses will eat each other. Not saying that me deciding where I'm going to move to is going to throw the laws of nature off, but rather in my life, in my world, in my universe that is my life, if I don't take this leap, even though it feels scary, something is going to be off. Something's going to be off for me. And so I've learned to trust in the leap because I don't want metaphorical horses to be eating each other in my life. And to me, it took me a long time to even understand what this was. It was just more of a feeling or a sensation or a knowing. And over the years, I've learned that there's a word for this. Like, there's a word that kind of tells you, what is this tug that pulls me here? And what is this thing that repels me and says, oh, no, don't do that. And I've learned it's simply intuition. It's our gut instinct. It's our gut knowing. It's our intuition. And there have been many times when I've been cut off from that, mostly when I'm just all in my head. But there are other times when I can listen to it and it nudges me or it tugs me in a direction. And I've learned to listen. And sometimes it has nudged me. I've been in really super challenging situations where I'm thinking, I can't take it anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is terrible. And my intuition is nudging me and saying, no, stay. It's hard, but something really important is being forged in this moment. And other times, that intuition is saying, now's the time, go. It's time to go. And so it doesn't always say leap, let go, move forward. Sometimes it says, I know this is hard, but it's not your time to leave yet. If you left now, horses would eat each other. It would not be good. So stay. And I'm sharing this with you because as I've been listening to my intuition, there's been stuff that has come up, and there's a big, big, big event, a big announcement. I've announced it on my personal Facebook page, but I'm announcing it here, which is that my family and I are moving to Maine. We're moving across the country. We're trying to hit the four corners. My husband used to live in Florida. We used to live in California, Washington State. Now we're going for Maine. So I'm assuming we get bingo when we get there. But we're moving there, and it's not because staying here feels like horses will eat each other. It doesn't feel like that. But there is something that's tugging me. And life isn't saying things are going to get really wrong if you choose to stay. But there's still something that's pulling me there. And it's kind of saying, if you wait, life can get painful enough here that you'll be kind of ejected out. So you can either go now or you can wait until life gets painful. And one of the things I teach my clients, and one of the things I practice myself, is learning to listen before things get painful. I think Oprah has talked about, like, sometimes God will throw a, like, pebble, God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. But she says God throws a pebble at your window. And if you ignore it, then God will throw a rock. And if you ignore it, then God will throw a brick through your window, and then you'll listen. And so I'm trying to hear the pebble and the rock before the brick comes through the window, because I've had plenty of bricks come through my window. So that's the first announcement that I wanted to let you know, because what that means is there may be some Wednesdays that I'm not as available to do my living and learnings, although I'm hoping I can still stay the course. It also means that my beautiful office, which I love, is going to belong to somebody new. And so you might see some changes as we walk through the moving process, and some new backgrounds. We're going to head to Cape Cod first, and then we're going to be on our way to Maine. So you'll see some new backgrounds as those changes happen. The second announcement that I had, and this one's a little bit of a sad one, is that for those of you who are VIP members of the Living and Learning and get those bonus materials, today's going to be the last one. I'm going to put a pause on it, put a freeze on it. I'll be sending your money back to you, or stopping the payment process. All of the videos and materials will still be available to you, so you still have that, but I'm not going to be making new content, particularly as I prioritize my time and efforts and energy. So those are my two big announcements. And if there's anything that COVID is showing us, is it's like rattling the cage a little bit. And so I share all of this with you because sometimes when our lives get rattled, it helps to tune in to our bodies, and I mean something beyond our spinning minds, but rather the rest of our bodies, and listen and see what's being called to us. What's asking us to stay? What's asking us to go? Asking for us to go. What's asking for us to be let go of, even if it's scary? Because I'll tell you, when I went to college, I remember talking to my best friend at one of my best friend's houses and saying, her older sister, who had already graduated from college, was home. And she said, "So where are you going to college?" And I said, "I don't know. I can't tell if I want to be by the ocean or by the forest and mountains." And she said, "Why don't you go to Humboldt State? It's got both." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's great." And at the time, she had just graduated with a journalism degree, which is what I was interested in at the time. And so I just went. I had never been there. It was the only school I applied to, and it was perfect. And no, I didn't become a journalism major, but I landed in one of the best child development programs ever. And that brought me to Germany. That leap to Germany brought me my husband. After that, it was a leap back to Humboldt State, which also created a leap to Google. There's all these leaps that we have taken. When what I've learned from taking many, many leaps, yes, it seems scary. Yes, to my mind, even I'm like, this is crazy. We're moving a family across country to a state that, in all honesty, I've never been to. And during a pandemic, like my mind is going, there's a lot. Like, are you operating on all your cylinders here? Have you really thought this through? Have you done the pros and cons? Which yes, we have. And yes, we've been thinking about this for almost a year now, just shy of a year. Um, but sometimes there's something that your soul, your heart and your soul knows that your mind doesn't know yet. I don't know what took me to Germany. I don't know what took me to Humboldt State. I don't know what's taking me to Bangor, Maine. But something is pulling me there. And I've been doing this enough, I've been trusting this enough to know that there's something there. I don't know what it is. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy and sunshine and roses, but there's something pulling me there. And so I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to trust. And our minds will tell us, you're making a mistake. That's a huge risk. What if you fail? All of the stuff. But I've learned to trust that this voice is not always reliable. But this voice, this knowing, has never let me down, like ever. Even when it seems like, wow, I just stepped into something even harder, it doesn't necessarily mean it let me down. It means there's some lessons there that needed to be forged. There's experiences that need to be had. So I encourage you that if something's pulling you, tugging you in one direction or another, to stay, to go, to move, to shift, to readjust, to say the hard thing, to do the scary thing, I just encourage you to listen, because our minds will never make sense of it until after the fact. So I leave you with that. I wish you a full week of living and learning. And if you have any tips around Maine, if you know people, if you know great people, if you have places you love to go and be, shoot me a message. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. So yes, Elle, thank you so much. Thanks for your support. Many blessings to you all. I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.